73-32 is a 70% win rate, 11-4 last week, and 5-2 on officials, my friends. We've got a beautiful slate ahead for week 8. In this video, I've got a ton of picks, a parlay or two to give you, and an official upset alert for this week 8. There's no time to waste. Let's go. MySperryEdge.com will show us all of the game lines. Now, we're going to dabble in the player props today, and you're in for a treat. I already ran the 10,000 simulations model for each game. Some of those picks are going to be in this video. And if you want to hear about my Thursday night takes, make sure you go watch the Tuesday Night Football video that's already out, or the Thursday morning live show for Thursday Night Football. Let's get to it. Okay, first up, Bills on the road coming off a bye. You know they have to come out firing in this one after losing 2 straight and looking pedestrian in all phases of the game in those 2 losses, especially that one against Atlanta. And now they're facing the Panthers, who are shockingly doing well. Same goes for the Bears. We're going to talk about them later. Very, very interesting bet for that Raiders versus Ravens game. Stay tuned. Bills are laying 7 points on the road. They're giving 7 points. That essentially means the Panthers are starting with a 7-point lead on sportsbooks. Bills need to win by 8 or more to cash the -7. About a 45.5, 46.5 point total, depending on what book you're looking at. And the Bills are heavy favorites. So how do we bet on this game? How do we make money betting on those Buffalo Bills? Well, to me, I think the best way to bet on those Buffalo Bills, why talk like that? Videos are getting weirder and weirder. The Buffalo Bills, it's going to be player props. There's 2 I love in that game. I'm going to talk about those on Friday's player prop video. It's 1 player prop per game, and it's a touchdown pick. Now, for game betting, I've got 1 pick for every game today. I think, to be honest, you could probably just buy a half a point, take them for -6. Although I don't know if you need to. I think the Bills really do come out firing. However, Josh Allen's on my wall, my friends. I'm a longtime diehard Buffalo Bills fan. So I'm going to take the money line. I'm going to just leave my heart and my finances out of this one. That's going to have to be parlayed with something else. But don't worry. 11-4 last week in my picks. You could parlay it with any of them today, I think. I'm always confident in myself. Maybe too confident. Oh, but check this out. It was another banner week for the NFL season. And while it wasn't a huge profit, 0.74 units profit, to be exact, the fact is, you can't go broke making a profit. And the profit doesn't stop there anymore. Now we get NBA. Last night for NBA, you're looking at it. Both my personal picks and the models, player projections, and game picks profit in both. So now if you're a VIP member, you've got NBA 7 days a week. You've got NFL 3 days a week using my models and my picks. I mean, Opto EV Picks even went 2-1 with his straights and his parlay, and he cashed out the plus 335 on FanDuel. He said 2 huge parlays in 3 days. There's never been a better time to join up. Grab that VIP link down below. If you bet daily, you don't got much to lose. It's very affordable. Give it a try and see if you like it. Hopefully I see you inside Discord. I don't want to bury the lead here, so we're going to go right to it. Bears versus the Ravens. Oh, and by the way, don't mind this menu over here. We did add some stuff. I figured I'd show it. Player projections, game projections, pick-em projections, price picks, and underdog. Oh, and by the way, the prop optimizers are pretty darn good, my friends. You can have so much fun over on MySperryEdge.com. I'm trying to boop it right here. Boop, boop. That Bears plus 250 money line looking really interesting right now. We don't know what's going on with Lamar Jackson. We do know the Ravens are coming out of the bye week looking horrific the 2 weeks prior to going into the bye. Similar to the Buffalo Bills, just not as much light at the end of the tunnel, I guess. I think a lot of Bills fans in the league still thinks the Bills can be good. I think the Ravens look shot. They're not even trying. That's the problem there. 2 straight weeks, they've put up an absolute dud in all 3 phases of the game. I mean, they got absolutely blown out. Now, they are at home coming off the bye. Maybe they play some inspired football, and maybe Lamar Jackson does come back, but he did not go through walkthrough on Monday. Now, the Bears are 4-2. They've lost a couple close ones. Well, I guess one of them, they lost the season opener. It was close. Then they got blown out by the Lions 52-21, but who can blame them? The Lions look like they could blow anybody out any given week unless they're playing the Chiefs, whose defense looks like they're ready to take them to the Super Bowl. And now Mahomes is surrounded by a bevy of talented wide receivers and a healthy team. Good luck to the AFC. Mahomes looking like he and the Chiefs are the cream of the crop. By the way, at the end of today's video, I'm going to keep those segments that you all loved last week. The feedback in the comments was immensely positive. So I've got a couple new segments at the end of all these game picks. Stick around if you love the NFL and you love talking sports. But I digress. I think the Bears are playing some decent football right now. They're winning games they shouldn't win, and they're winning games they should win. That's the mark of a decent team, my friends. Caleb Williams, that team, actually playing well. Defense isn't too bad. Offense is looking all right. DeAndre Swift, career rejuvenation year. And Odunze, man, that kid is special. I think if he were in the right passing offense with the right quarterback, we're looking at top 3 to 5 wide receiver numbers. I'm not lying. Now, without, knowing if Lamar is going to play or not, I'm all over the Bears right now. I like them to not only cover, but I think they got a shot at winning this game. Now, listen, I get it. Harbaugh's going to have the team ready coming out of the break. Cooper Rush probably plays some better football. Maybe the team's not as down on themselves. They needed a moment. They were, started off the season so poorly, and then Lamar got hurt. Steal the Bills phrase, time to circle the wagons. I don't know what the Ravens say. Ravens flock, time to fly. I don't know. But I think there's a chance they do play inspired football in front of their home crowd and have some pride in themselves. So for that reason, maybe I'm not as confident on the money line. You are getting crazy odds, plus 250, of course, but I'll take them to cover. Next up, Browns and Patriots. Browns are on the road in this one. Laying 6.5 are the Patriots at home. Minus 326 faves. Not much I want to say here. Quinshawn Judkins, we're going to talk about him in Friday's video. Drake May, same thing. Give me the Patriots. Let's move on to more games. There's better ones to talk about, and this is not one of them. Miami Dolphins on the road against the Falcons. Falcons playing better football than the Dolphins right now. Who isn't, actually? I think the Dolphins lose this one. Minus 344. Again, got to parlay this with something. Let's move on. There's better games, and this is going to be one of them right here. Giants on the road against the Eagles. Eagles, heavy favorites in this one, laying 6.5 at home. We saw the Eagles get embarrassed on Thursday Night Football just 3 weeks ago in New York. They got absolutely beat down. It was like 37-13 or something in the third quarter. I can't remember the final score, but it wasn't pretty. Now, the Eagles certainly have their problems, but they looked a lot better last week, and they are the defending Super Bowl champions. And I think this is one of those spots where they are out for blood. And I'm circling the Bills versus the Patriots on the map for later this season when they go into New England, play in Foxborough for the similar reason. Now, the Eagles offense, I think, really is going to start opening up a little bit. They've got to kind of, create that downfield threat. And they tried this week. Devonta Smith had a huge long touchdown. A.J. Brown had a nice long touchdown over the top of the defensive back. They've got to do that to open up the running game underneath. Right now, teams are not respecting the deep ball. They're stacking the box. And that offensive line, that patchwork offensive line with the new coordinator, it's just not working the same way it did last year. And Saquon's not thriving or feasting, or he's not even the engine that is running the offense like he was last season during his Offensive Player of the Year award. So I think we've got some Jalen Hurts upside here in this game at home. And I don't think that they take their foot off the gas pedal. I think this could be one of those statement games. I've called out the statement game 5 or 6 times this year. The majority of the time it's worked out in the favor of it being a statement game, as do most of them when it's the good teams. The Chiefs were one of them a few weeks ago, and I think this is another one right here. Give me the Chiefs to win by a landslide. I take them for minus 6.5. I love that we are covering the 7-point barrier, that touchdown barrier, those key numbers in betting, the 3, the 7, the 10, so on and so forth. When you're talking about NFL spreads, getting to cover the minus 6.5, they got to win by a touchdown, and they can do it. Now, Jackson Dart starting to show some holes in his game. That being said, my goodness, that kid almost led them to a victory against the Broncos, It was an absolute meltdown, which, by the way, I also have to highlight it. It's on the screen right now because the Broncos came back, scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. The Opto EV picks plus 887 moneyline parlay cashed out last week for VIPs. He actually used my models to make that parlay. It's as simple as that, my friends. If I'm cashing 70% of my picks, my VIP picks, using my NFL models, yeah, you could probably put together some decent parlays on your own as well. Again, VIP picks link right there. But I digress. The I digress counter going up real high this week. It was high on Tuesday's videos, high here again. It is what it is. Give me the Eagles to win, and I don't think it's a pretty one. Next up, we've got the Jets, we've got the Bengals. And oh my goodness, good freaking luck picking a winner here. That being said, Joe Flacco versus T-Rod Taylor. That's right, T-Rod probably getting the start. Justin Fields' second concussion in 4 weeks, and his name is T-Rod, said Baker Mayfield. That's right. So down below in the comments section, can't wait to see somebody reply and say, "Yeah, donuts, it's Ty-Rod." Actually, my friends, Baker said it wasn't. Give me the Bengals, best odds on Novig. What else is new? Novig often giving us the best odds. That's why I often tell people you got to be playing on Novig. Code donuts, DONUTS. Donuts, donuts, donuts. Staying on brand, my friends. Way too many of you are locked into only Pick'em across all the Pick'em apps, and it makes no sense. Give me the Bengals to win against the hapless Jets. They're 0-7. We've got 6 games on tap to remain. Multiple primetime games to discuss. Last game of the 1 o'clock time. Niners on the road against the Texans. And the Niners are underdogs. What? Can we stop and talk about this for a second? The San Francisco 49ers are a much better team, even with Mac Jones, than the Houston Texans. The Texans' offensive line maybe is the worst in the NFL. Stroud has regressed over the last year and a half, and I think a lot of that has to do with the offensive line. We saw how miserable that offense looked, and I don't know how things change here. It doesn't make too much sense. They look bad on Monday Night Football. The Texans are 2-4. At some point, they are who they are, my friends. Those standings, those records, most of them, I'd say probably 90% of them in the NFL are very indicative of the fact of how good or bad a team might be at this point in time. Is there some wiggle room for their upside or downside when they're 2-4? Sure, absolutely. But I think context matters. Behind their 2-4 record, there are a lot of massive holes. It's not like they've lost, a couple really close games, or they had some key injuries and all of a sudden they're healthy and they've got some better matchups coming. Maybe their first 3 losses were against, all playoff teams. No. It's not one of those situations. The Texans do not look good. Their 2-4 record is quite indicative of the fact that they're not a good team right now. And I don't see anything changing. And the Niners on the flip side are a good team. Their injuries are insane. Maybe the most injured team in the NFL right now, slightly above my Buffalo Bills, unfortunately. The walking wounded. Give me the freaking Niners in this one at plus odds. This is another situation where I'm looking at the Bears and I'm like, hey, okay, yes, the Ravens are coming out of bye. That's probably why they're favorites. Maybe Lamar plays, but it doesn't look like he's going to play. Listen, if Lamar plays, let me also say this. If Lamar plays, get me off the Bears anything. They come out playing inspired and show the people why they were the second favorite team in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl this year. But if we get Cooper Rushing, give me the Bears to cover. That being said, I digress. The I digress counter. What do we have? 4? Tell me in the comments. I forget. Give me the freaking Texans to lose at home. Give me the Niners to win, my friends. I think they're going to take this one on the road as underdogs. And we're going to get some stat padding from CMC. We're going to keep banging out props from that guy. All right, let's move into the 4 o'clock slate. We've got 5 games and then a primetime game. And I've got wins for you. Lots of them. Just do me a huge favor. If you're enjoying the video, please like the video. If you're on mobile, can you hype it? Hit the hype. It's a really cool feature that YouTube's rolling out. Only some of you on mobile have access to it. Check and see if you do. If you do, and I'm helping you, or you've been getting some wins here and you're not a VIP and you're like, let me just support publicly, by all means, like, subscribe, comment, and hype, my friends. Hype, hype, hype. All right, let's move on. All right, down at the bottom, you're looking at the game-by-game preview. I took a snippet from this one game for you just so you could see it. No, it's not the full model. It's just a section of one single game. But hey, I figured it was a fun way to talk about it. We've got the Bucs on the road against the Saints. Bucs coming off their beat down against the Lions. That offense looked miserable in a 24-9 loss on the road on Monday Night Football. Yeah, that's going to happen. Mike Evans injured again. Collarbone, I believe he broke it. My guy can't stay healthy this year. That's it for him. I don't know what's next. This season's lost. But anyways, I digress. Tampa on the road to face the Saints. Now, the Saints do fight. they claw every single game. And you got to respect them for that. They never roll over against anybody. They play until the final whistle. And I love that from the Saints. And I think that's a great sign for the organization's health, despite the fact they don't have a quarterback, which is really the main driver of wins and losses in the NFL. Let's be real. The Bucks only getting -4.5. Excuse me, giving -4.5 on the road. That I do not understand. And maybe it's just because of the offense and the injuries and concerns, but we are talking about two totally different teams. First off, you want to have a statement game, a get right spot for the Bucks. Similar to what we've been talking about with some of these other teams like the Eagles. Yeah, you've got one right here. The Saints are 1-6. I mean, look at it. We give you the standings, the records, and all that. The Bucks were just being talked about as having Baker, potential MVP, and maybe the Super Bowl favorite for the NFC until they got beat by the Lions. And now they're only giving 4.5 points against the 1-6 Saints. I don't know about that. Give me Tampa to win this one. You know, at -202 on Novig as well is a very interesting line. It wouldn't take much to parlay that with something to give you some really good odds. And we've already talked about a few games that could be parlayed with it today as well. All right, we've got Cowboys, Broncos. That's a good one. We're going to breeze through the Colts and Titans. Packers and Steelers is worth discussing, and so is the Commanders and the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. I'm very excited to talk about these last three games. Cowboys on the road against the Broncos. Cowboys are playing some good football right now. Broncos coming off the back of an insane, one of the best comebacks I've ever seen in the fourth quarter. That was an awesome game. Cowboys were also in an awesome game to close out the 4 p.m. slate. The 4 p.m. games were just incredible. Colts were also involved in a 4 p.m. game, although they won that one handedly against the Chargers, 38-24. What do we do here? Well, first off, I think we have an insane parlay opportunity. And just off the top of my head, it's Broncos win, Cowboys cover the 3.5, and then you take the over. I mean, that alone, the odds alone on that parlay are pretty darn fun. Player props wise, there are a ton to talk about: touchdowns, yardage, receptions. There's like 5 players I want to discuss for this game. I'm going to take my sweet time when it comes to the Friday one player prop per pick video, one player prop pick per game video. And yeah, this one probably has more than one pick per game because there's going to be like 3 or 4 in this one. So I can't wait to talk about that. Make sure you come back. Got to subscribe, turn your noties on. In this game for picks and winners wise, I'm taking the Broncos to win at home. They got a lot of momentum, and maybe you could call this like a trap spot, a letdown spot, but I don't think it is. They're at home in this one, and the Cowboys are similarly in a trap spot too, coming off a big 44-20 win or 40-22, whatever it was against the Commanders. You know, they're riding high, but now they're on the road to go face Denver. Very tough AFC team. Now, the Cowboys offense just keeps showing up, regardless of wins or losses. They've scored 20 against the Eagles in week 1, 40 against the Giants in week 2. Then they got trounced by the Bears, who I already talked about how much I like, 31-14 in week 3. In week 4, they tied the Packers 40-40 in that overtime game on primetime. That was awesome to watch. Then they beat the Jets 37-22, lost to the Panthers 30-27, and then scored 44 against the Commanders. 4 times they've scored 37 or more points so far this season, and 4 times they've given up 30-plus points this season. Yeah, I really like the total here. Now, I don't bet on totals. I think it's the worst market on earth. I loathe betting on totals. But I'll tell you right now, the total in this one looks really good. You want me to pick a game winner? I'm going Broncos at home in this one. It's a close one. I think they can win it. I don't like the odds at -160-ish right now. I wish we get better odds. Maybe we do by the end of the week. Maybe you can get it on Novig as the exchanges. Next up, we got the Titans, the Colts. Colts, massive favorites. Colts, -13.5, maybe in play there for you if you want it. They did just beat the Titans by 21 a few weeks ago. I also will say the Titans have lost by 14-plus points, I think, 4 times this season. They're 1-6. They're not good. Their defense is not good. Their offense might be second or third worst in the NFL. At times, the worst. Not much upside there for them. And if they can't slow down the Colts at all, and being on the road against Indianapolis, who's 6-1, looking at like the potentially second best team in the NFL right now, that's shocking with Daniel Jones. At some point, we all need to just buy in. And by the way, I'm going to talk about some more stuff at the end of the video, including that NFL topic talk, my friends. I'm adding some different things to these betting videos. Oh, speaking of betting videos, Next week begins the NBA picks videos. So if you're an NBA bettor, of course, you're in my VIP. Massive profits opening night, that 2-game slate. A nice large Wednesday NBA slate as well. Daily NBA betting models, picks, parlays. We got it all, my friends. But I digress. If you are here in public, just for public stuff, yeah, there's going to be some NBA videos coming. Next week, I start on Monday. Stay tuned. Give me the Colts to win that one. Steelers, Packers, the last 4 p.m. game. Steelers lost a tough one. I thought they pulled it out there. Up 31-26 with a minute left, and then Joe Flacco finds a way to make it happen. The Unk Bowl, the Sands of Time game, whatever you want to call it. It was an epic game between Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco. I absolutely loved it. We all did. What a watch that was for Thursday Night Football. Now, Steelers are underdogs in this one. On the road are the Green Bay Packers. So, and I'm a little shocked by this one. Green Bay Packers are not playing well. Steelers are hit or miss, and they're at home. Packers are on the road. They're at home and giving points. Now, the 3.5 also is very important too because it crosses that key number. Remember, the 3-point number. While I do think the Packers are the better team and could win this one, and I will take the Packers to win, I actually like the plus 3.5 from the Steelers as well. These are two similar teams. They're going to try to run. They're going to take shots deep, and they don't pass pro very well, and they're very inefficient and volatile. The only stable force in this game on either side right now is Josh Jacobs, 20-plus touches, or DK Metcalf getting down the field. So I'll take the Steelers to cover in this one. I think the Packers do win this one, though. All right, Monday Night Football. Let's get to it real quick. No time to waste. Let's get to our last game, then our other new segments. Commanders need to show some life here, and we saw Jaden Daniels get hurt, Marcus Mariota come on the field and struggle, and of course, that happens with those guys coming off the bench. Now they're going into Arrowhead on Monday Night Football to face the Chiefs, who potentially are now the best team in the NFL. Yeah, I'm saying it. I've said it for a couple of weeks now. Be careful in this one. I know everybody loves to bet heavily on these primetime games. I get it, but a lot of money is made by sportsbooks on these games. And the Steelers game and the Packers game, that Sunday night game, I think is a better spot to target than this one. Chiefs at -10. It's unfortunate you can't get them -9.5 somewhere. I think they could blow out Marcus Mariota-led Commanders in this one. Of course, I'm taking the Chiefs money line at home here. You're going to have to parlay it with something. We'll have some parlays for the VIPs for this one, but there's nothing I can put out here that makes me confident for this game pick other than just saying, give me the Chiefs to win. Now, again, if you're here for just betting, you got what you came for. And the NBA picks are coming right here on YouTube. And if you're a member, you're already cleaning house down below. Grab the first link, Tails link, VIP link right there, my friends. But if you're here because you love the NFL and you love sports talk equally to the level that you love betting talk, well, then this portion of the video is for you. I'm tossing it up on the screen right now. The Super Bowl contenders graphic. Yeah, things have changed, my friends. I've said it for the last couple weeks. I think the Chiefs are potentially the cream of the crop in the AFC now that they're healthy. The offense is looking good. They got signs of life. That's why the records early season aren't really fully indicative of how good a team is or isn't until right around week 6 or so. And then you start to see what the record is and the trajectory of the teams. And again, context behind the records early season are incredibly important. Did they have tough losses? Did they have injury issues? Are they historically a slow starting team? And we're starting to see some things shake out. Chiefs are the cream of the crop. I don't know if anybody would argue with that. The second best team in the NFL right now, Detroit Lions. That's right. Now listen, last season, they looked like the best team in the NFL, at least in the NFC, heading into the playoffs. And then they didn't get out of the first round of the playoffs, and the Eagles ended up going on and winning the Super Bowl. Do we have something similar brewing here, where the Lions look like the cream of the crop in the NFC, and then the Eagles as the fourth best team in the NFL, or at least fourth best chance of winning the Super Bowl? That's how I do my power rankings, by the way. It's just Super Bowl championship odds and the probability of getting to the ship and then winning it. And I think the Lions right now are the better team. Now, got my Bills back there in 5th place because the Indianapolis Colts, it's time to believe. Daniel Jones in this system is perfect. He's got a little bit of that aggression, needs to throw the ball downfield at times. He's got a decent amount of decision making. He's never been a high turnover guy. Go back and look at his stats. He isn't someone that throws a ton of picks. And he's got some playmaking ability. He can tuck it and run it at times when he needs to. He's more athletic than you would think he is. He's busted off 50-yard touchdown runs before. The defense is playing well, despite the fact that they have a ton of secondary issues. And the running game is top-notch. There's nothing better in the NFL. Are we looking at Jonathan Taylor, Offensive Player of the Year? I think we might be. Continues to pound the football. He looks great in all three phases of the game. That's running, that's catching, and that's the red zone. That's touchdowns, my friends. People would say pass pro, but listen, he's going out in pass patterns more than ever before. I think he wins the Offensive Player of the Year potentially here, and I don't even know if it's close anymore. And then the Bills, a lot will be said coming off the bye. The injury issues are still there. That's the problem. If they're not fully healthy, what can they show us? And I think they've got to do it right here, right now. Where would you rather be as a Buffalo Bills fan than be coming off a bye, having no respect in the NFL? It's time to circle the wagons for the Bills Mafia and the Buffalo Bills. I think they win this one. Big statement game for them. If they don't make that statement game, I think they fall out of my top 5. And I got another team on the brink of sliding in there over them. I'll talk about them maybe next week, but hopefully not. As a Bills fan, I hope the Bills can pull out. All right, now you're looking at my contenders and pretenders list. What this is essentially are these teams I think are fake good or in a tough spot versus these teams I think have a really good chance of not only making the playoffs, but making some waves. So let's talk about it really quick because some of these might shock you a little bit. The Patriots, of course, at 5-2, leading the AFC East, are contenders. Now, for a second there, I was a little concerned of what were they going to be, but I'm a believer at this point. Drake May has just taken a step into top 10 discussion. I'm not even kidding, man. This kid looks so darn good. The Patriots are set up for the next 15 years. Now they need to surround him with talent. He doesn't have enough of it right now. If he did, I think the Bills would be in trouble in the AFC East just based on their current roster construction. It's not good. They need to make some changes this NFL offseason. I can't wait to do sports talk, the NFL talk during the offseason and the free agent period and the draft. I plan on doing that. So if you're enjoying this segment, hey, tell me down below if you're looking forward to off-season NFL content. The Broncos, yeah. So they at one point in time were a top 5 Super Bowl contender for the AFC, for AFC championship odds. They're back in that on the sports books, and they're back inside my contender list. They belong there. They look good. That was a huge marquee win. They needed to show that they could win in a, come from behind type scenario against the team they should beat, and they did it. And I think that was a huge statement, and that put them on the map for me to be an actual, not just playoff contender, but a team that can make some serious waves in the playoffs after losing to the Bills in the playoffs last year in the first round. I think they could seriously upset somebody when the playoffs come around. And then the 49ers were here last week, and they stay on this list this week. This is one of those teams where I feel like if they get healthy, and if they can get healthy, of course, that is so important in the NFL, is that, the longevity of their players. If this team can get healthy, I think that they can make some serious waves in the NFC. Now, the NFC is loaded right now. Let me tell you some of these teams and their records, because it's absurd. And you see 2 of them, the Panthers and the Bears, on my pretenders list. It's not because the Panthers I do think are pretenders in both standings, record, and talent. But the Bears, I actually think they're a pretty decent team this year. But man, that division, the Packers are 4-1-1. The Lions are 5-2. Both of them are ahead of the Bears in their division itself. And then the Vikings are 3-3. Huge game Thursday Night Football against the Chargers. We're about to see what they're made of. I mean, the Seahawks are 5-2. The Rams are 5-2. The 49ers are 5-2. The Bucks are 5-2. The Packers are 4-1. The Lions are 5-2. And the Eagles are 5-2. We know the Cowboys are competitive at 3-3. A lot can be said about them if they can win their game this week on the road against the Broncos. I think they enter this discussion next week potentially. Then you got the Panthers at 4-3. 3 and the Bears at 4-2. So the Panthers and the Bears being on this list, it isn't that they're not good teams per se or competitive teams. They're just in the wrong conference. If they were in the AFC, maybe they're playoff contenders at this point. Maybe not the Panthers. I still don't believe in them. They're a better team. I think they can play, 500, finish 8-9, 9-8, something like that this season. The Bears, on the other hand, you look at their schedule, they have patty cake matchup after patty cake matchup for the next 6-7 weeks. And a lot can be told based on how those results come out as to what level of contender or pretender the Bears are. So currently they're hanging on by a thread to this playoff pretenders list only because the NFC is so stacked. But I think this team's got the makings of what is needed to be a playoff contender. And a lot of that just hinges on Caleb Williams and his progression. Now, if you enjoyed these last 2 segments of the video, could do me a favor. Just do me a little favor. Hype the video, like it. Tell the people in the comment section, you got to stick around for the end of these videos. And then if you see somebody else say that, like their comment. Bump it up because YouTube will see all the likes on a comment and it moves it to the top of the comment list. All right. I love y'all. Appreciate you. I'm sure if you stuck around to the end, you are a VIP. But if you're not, VIP link down below. There's never been a better time to join. 7 days a week. A chance to profit. NBA models, NBA picks, NFL models, NBA picks. Thanks so much for being here. I do appreciate you. See you Thursday morning. Yeah, tomorrow, Thursday morning. And then for the live show, for Thursday Night Football live show. Yeah. Okay. And then Friday, Saturday, 1 pick per game, 1 touchdown per game. And then Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern live show. I love y'all. Appreciate you. Have yourselves a wonderful day, my friends. Let's get paid.